Ladies and gentlemen, we now commence the formal part of the inductions. We'll have 3 inductions and then a short break for our main meal. Can I invite Committee Chair Ron to come forward and assist with the presentations? While Ron's coming up, the great Pele once said, "Success is no accident. It's hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you are doing or learning to do." As well, the great Henry Ford said, "Coming together is the beginning. Keeping together is progress. And working together is success." As the night unfolds, these words of wisdom, I'm sure, have resonated with all of our inductees who illustrate all of those characteristics and are just outstanding ambassadors for our game. Ladies and gentlemen, the first inductee into the SSNA Ovens and Murray Football Netball League Hall of Fame for 2023 is Richie Castles.
Richie Tank Castles squeezed so much into his relatively short career with Benalla. He debuted for the Demons in 1957 at the age of 17, but a car accident forced him onto the sidelines the following year before he returned to make the back pocket his own in a team on the rise. He won Benalla's Best and Fairest in 1960 and spent the following year playing with Uncle Dick Reynolds at West Torrens in the Sandfall. Upon his return, Castles played in Benalla's back-to-back flags in 1962 and 1963 under former Fitzroy player Vin Williams. Castles was among the Demons' best in the 1963 triumph over Corowa when they kicked 8-0 in the final quarter to cruise to the flag. But the powerfully built small defender is forever linked to a controversy in the final round match of 1960 between Benalla and Wangaratta Rovers that had to be replayed when it was discovered the siren had mistakenly sounded early, with the Hawks leading by only 6 points. Morris Medal votes were traditionally counted on the Sunday after the final game and revealed Castles led Rovers champion Bob Rose by 1 heading into the match that was ultimately replayed. Rose polled 2 votes in the controversial encounter to overtake Castles and eventually was declared the winner. Despite Benalla's unsuccessful protestations, the vote should be declared null and void. Castles was picked in the Ovens and Murray Team of the Century in the back pocket. Richie Castles, a well-deserved inductee into the Ovens and Murray.
Thank you. So, Richie, please come over. So he's a man of few words. So what I thought I'd do is ask him a couple of questions, and he's going to then respond with his things. So as we heard, he made his debut as a 17-year-old and then had a car accident the following year, which kept him out. But what I'm interested in, he plays a bit of a low back to this, but he's the nephew of the great Dickie Reynolds, the 3-time Brownlow medalist, and he went and played under Uncle Dick at West Torrens. So I'd like him to tell us a little bit about that journey and also some time that he spent at Essendon Footy Club but decided to return home and play at Benalla.
Yes, well, it's probably when I did go over that Adelaide and played over there. I used to play here at 15 stone 4, and I finished up. We played Norwood in a semi-final on Adelaide Oval when I was 13 stone 12. It's really the first time I've been football fit. My uncle was a tremendous person. Had a wonderful time over in Adelaide. Probably should have stayed there, but had a barney with someone at work and I told him to get linked. I'm off. And probably a good thing I did because I met a lovely girl in Benalla. And I've been married to her for 50 odd years, Sally Starr, looking after her. She shaved me a few times because she was the next nurse. Yes. I really enjoyed Adelaide. Really place. And I must say something about, thanks Amy for coming up tonight, but I can tell you another story about Fazio that none of you people know about. The first time he came to train in Benalla, barefooted, khaki shorts and a singlet. Now this is fact. Absolute fact. They lived out the road. I used to take him home every now and again. He couldn't kick a footy. I tried to teach him. And I said, Vaz, wait for me, go and hop on the ute. I had my dog there, I had a box of dogs. had my dog there. Faz has jumped in the ute to go home, and he's out. The dog's got hold of him, he's never come home with me again. So I fixed him up, so that's another story you can tell them all, because that's a fact. He never knew how to kick a footy either.
Now, you played in 2 flags at Benalla.
Yes.
You won a club best and fairest.
Yeah.
Runner-up in the Morris Medal, and as we heard in the video, there was a bit of controversy about the result, which was round 18, and guess who won it? Bobby Rose. You know, not a bad luck to lose a Morris Medal too, but can you tell us a little bit about what happened that year? Because obviously the period 62, 63 was really successful for you and the club.
Very successful. We had a lot of really good players, and we're all local kids that probably went through school together, played footy together. We had Vin Williams did get us fitter, and we had a couple of real smart players in Ian Hughes, centre forward. Merv Hughes was daddy is, and he's still going, he's 90. And it was a really good time. I think all those blokes should be legends, not just me.
Right, and the last question, this is a bit of a segue for you before I hand it up the mic over to you to say your thanks, is it's well known that you had a milk run. And I'm just interested how you fitted that in with your footy and how you were ever over about 9 stone ring and wet if you were doing a milk run. And then you go footy away at 25.
Yes, well, that was pretty hard. When I first started at 17, well, they used to get the bus in Benalla, 9 o'clock. We'd have to be up to Albury. The seconds and first always used to travel together. And I'd do my milk round on the bus up to Albury, play, come back, 1:30, start again. And I think in the end I got a bit sick of that. And I said, no, that's it. They didn't believe me, but I did. I said, no, I'm finished. 25, went racing me pigeons. I had a lot of fun with pigeons. I've still got my pigeons, but I don't race them. They're too fast for me.
All right, I'll take that mic and I'll hand this main mic over to you. So if you'd like to make some thanks to anybody that you would like to, family or anything else that you would like to say. So.
I'd just like to thank Darren M for giving me this award, pretty lucky. And thanks to my family, all the girls are up there. I've got a wife and 2 daughters. I think the world of this. And Maddie and my granddaughter too. My granddaughter there too. She keeps me in line sometimes.
All right, just.
I've got a pretty good sister-in-law. And she's the sister to Graham.
So just before you go, Richie, let's just have a quick recap. 105 games for Benalla. He made his debut as a 17-year-old. He had a stint at Essendon. He played under Uncle Dick, 3-time Brownlow medalist in the Sandford. He was selected in the O&M team of the century. Ryan Gilchrist at fullback, Dennis Sandwell in the back pocket, and Richie in the other back pocket. His nickname was Tank because of his size, but he's obviously slimmed down a bit. And also what he doesn't tell you is that when he finished his footy, he did a lot of umpiring and coaching for his son Peter and the boys, so he continued his involvement. A wonderful man, a short career but an outstanding career. Please congratulate Richie Castles from Benalla. Ladies and gentlemen, the second inductee into the SSNA Ovens and Murray Football Netball League Hall of Fame for 2023 from North Albury, Daniel Leslie.
Loyal to the core, Dan Leslie played his entire Ovens and Murray career with North Albury that would end with him as the club's games record holder. His father Trevor was a best and fairest winner and premiership player with Albury, but from the moment Leslie joined the Hoppers under-17s, Bunton Park became his lifetime football home with the exception of a brief stint in the West. He played in a reserves premiership in 2000. On the same day, the Hoppers seniors were blown off the park by Cora Rutherglen, but 2 years later, senior premiership success returned to the club when North Albury overpowered Wangaratta Rovers in the last quarter to win by 8 goals. Leslie started his long career at centre-half back before being switched to centre-half forward, the 2 constants in both positions, his brilliant high marking and athleticism. He was the Hoppers' leading goal kicker for 4 successive seasons from 2009, finishing with 354 career goals and twice kicking 10 goals in a match. Leslie was also North Albury's best and fairest winner 3 times, 2013, 2015 and 2017, and he captained the club for 7 years from 2008. More grand final glory eluded him in 2004 and 2007, but at the peak of his powers, Leslie was an automatic selection for Victorian and New South Wales teams and earned All-Australian honours in 2012. He finished his career with 300 senior appearances for North Albury, overtaking the record held by another Hopper legend, Stan Sargent. Dan Leslie, a fitting inductee into the Ovens and Murray Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, Daniel. And for those who don't know, he was inducted into the North Albury Football Club Hall of Fame only a few weeks ago, so he's had a fairly busy social calendar recently. Dan, on the video we saw a photo of you there with Kevin Sheedy. If I remember correctly, Sheeds gave you the opportunity to have a run at Levington with the Giants, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right, mate. I hadn't had a real big pre-season that year. I was coming off a bit of osteoarthritis, so I'd only trained for 2 weeks prior. And Danny Stevens, who is here tonight, gave me the call, and I had to think about it a little bit, but obviously knowing that opportunity wouldn't come again, I took it, and yeah, it's a great experience. Being a Bombers man too, to be by Kevin Sheedy is pretty special.
The move from centre half back to centre half forward, I spoke to one of your former coaches a couple of days ago, and he just said that you were just an outstanding contributor, competitor, and he always relied on you taking 10 or 12 big marks a game. So you moved from centre back to centre forward. So whose idea was that, and which role did you prefer?
I think early days I was playing centre back, probably just to learn my craft a little bit. Playing next to Travis Hodgson and Mark Hilton, Jason Kerr, blokes like that, really taught me a lot. So yeah, to switch to centre forward, I was sort of centre back, centre forward a fair bit for a few years, but it wasn't until Travis came across from Burlford in 07 coach, and then he left me at centre forward, and I played there for 3 or 4 years, and lucky enough to kick a few, and take some good marks, mate.
Dan's in the top 15 in the most number of games played in the history of our league, and one of the things that he's done, which few can say that they've done, he's been a player, a coach, captain. There's not too much he hasn't achieved at the Hoppers, so I'm just interested in what kept you, other than your brief period at Perth in the Waffle. You've stayed at North Albury Hoppers man your whole career. What was it that kept you at the green and gold?
I don't think it was one thing you could point it to, but just the people and the place. Being there from a young age, it just felt like a second home. So to go anywhere else would have felt different, and probably would have meant the same. Winning games at another club, so Norfolk was my home, and it always will be.
All right, thank you, Dan. I'll hand over to you now to do your presentation, so I'll swap you mics and hand over to you.
Thanks, Graham. Just wanted to thank whoever did that highlights reel. Obviously made me look and sound a lot better than what I really was. To the Ovens and Murray Hall of Fame committee, Ronnie, Jono, really appreciate the hours that you guys have put into a night like this. And it's not only, tonight, it's a huge effort, just how much time that you guys have put into the league in general. And it's people like you that make us the greatest country league in Australia. Congratulations to all the other inductees. I was lucky enough to play with and against Matty Fowler. Always enjoyed playing on great players, and Fowler's definitely one of those. Obviously, it's a huge honour. Really grateful and proud. It's something you don't ever play for or expect. And to have my name next to some of Ovens and Murray's finest is a massive highlight. Footy's been a massive part of my life, and a massive highlight. I got paid to play, train and hang out with my mates. Travel around Victoria and Australia with rep teams and play all over. I feel very fortunate to have lived the country footy life for as long as I did. Obviously the 2002 premiership is what we all played. It's definitely a career highlight, and probably something I didn't really fully appreciate at 19. I thought you win one at night, I'm going to win another 5. A few other opportunities in 04 and 07 come along, but obviously we didn't win those. Also great memories with Brett Footy, whether it was interleague or big country. Playing with them against the best in the state was something I look forward to every year. Just a few thank yous. Firstly, my club, North Albury, to all my teammates, presidents, supporters, coaches. There wasn't one day I didn't love putting on the green and gold. To my kids, I don't think you can love anything more than your kids. So to have Charlize and Duke at the footy running around in the green and gold with number 2 on their back, and then coming in the room singing a song, we're sitting on my lap sharing a protein shake. It's something I'll cherish forever. Thank you to my family and friends that have made the effort to celebrate this tonight. A lot of them are backing up again from the North Albury Hall of Fame, as Graham said a few months ago. My brother and sister, they've been with me from the start until the end. The boys that are here today, Gilly, Pricey, Azza and Choco, I really appreciate all you guys have done for me. And lastly, Carly, my wife, all the sacrifices that she's made over the 300 plus games, from moving to Perth, knowing no one, watching nearly every game in the freezing cold, the rain, the heat, wrangling kids, travelling down to Melbourne for big country training on Sundays, watching rep footy all over the place, listening to me talk footy shit all the time, help me hobble around on a Sunday. None of this would have happened without you, so thanks, Carly. That's it all.
So let's just have a quick recap. 300 games, 354 goals, premiership in 2002, 3 times best and fairest, 9 times O&M Interleague representative, Victorian Country Football League representative, New South Wales State representative, All-Australian Country representative, North Albury captain for 7 years, North Albury coach. Also had a stint at Perth in the Lachlan, as I said earlier, elevated to the status of legend in the North Albury Hall of Fame. He's a club games record holder, loyal to the core, and what a great ambassador and what a great inductee, Daniel Leslie. Ladies and gentlemen, the third inductee into the SSNA Ovens and Murray Hall of Fame in 2023 is the outstanding netballer, Andrea Chris Sullivan.
The crisp name is synonymous with football at Myrtleford, with brothers Alan and Bob members of the Saints' famous 1970 flag win over Wangaratta Rovers. But Andrea Crisp Sullivan made an even bigger impact on the netball court for the Saints when it was introduced into the Ovens and Murray in 1993. Her career spanning 380 matches for Myrtleford, including more than 300 at A-grade level, began in the inaugural season. She was runner-up in the Tony Wilson Medal in 1994, and a year later she was a deadly accurate goal shooter in Myrtleford's first A-grade premiership team. More flag success in the top grade flowed in 1997, 2000 and 2003, with Crisp Sullivan playing at the opposite end of the court in the 2003 triumph. Crisp Sullivan also won 2 Best and Fairest in 1999 and 2001, and regularly represented the Ovens and Murray in Interleague and State Association carnivals. Later in her career, Crisp Sullivan was a member of the club's 2008 B-grade premiership team. She was selected in the O&M's Team of the Decade from 1993 to 2003, and was also picked in the league's best team from 1993 to 2018. Andrea Crisp Sullivan, a superb inductee into the Ovens and Murray Hall of Fame.
It's a bit hard to know where to start with such an outstanding contribution to the Myrtleford Saints, but I suppose the first thing to find out is the longevity. How were you able to sustain the interest and the fitness over 380 games? That's a lot of netball.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, but the trainers were amazing. On the Sunday after the game, probably wouldn't have thought that I'd play the next Saturday. I was hobbling around a bit, but just keep training and pushing through. I was very, very lucky that I didn't have a lot of injuries. So probably the worst was ankles, and then towards the end of my career, calf muscles. So that's the old person's injury. So it's nearly time to give it up then.
In the early days, like netball started with the O&M in '93, so it's been around about 30 years, and people now talk about the dominance particularly a Garrawonga A grade, but back then it was Myrtleford, and Andrea was part of that, so I'm sort of interested in what it was. Myrtleford generally started a little bit slow. I don't know that there's a lot of summer training, but they seemed to peak at the right time and you had a great deal of success. So what was it about the group of ladies that you had playing that were just so good?
I think we were all local girls, and in those first couple of years, we were always there in the finals, and it was a credit to Mindy and her experience that she brought from Melbourne and changed, I suppose, the way we played, made us take that step up, and we were all, just in there for each other.
One of the things that wasn't really elaborated on the video, but a premiership player in a couple of grades, runner-up in a league medal, A grade best and fairest in 2008, club best and fairest. But she also coached nearly all of the Myrtleford teams as well. So in addition to playing for that period of time, 380 games, so I spoke to some club officials during the week who said, even to this day, she's the first at a function, first at an event, always doing something, which I know she takes after mum and dad, Ellen and Mo, which is fantastic. But what is it about the Myrtleford Saints that's kept you engaged for that period of time, and the passion to keep you behind the key team and doing the team manager's job and all those things that you still continue to do?
Well, I was brought up there. Like you said, Dad played football there, Mum was the canteen manager. Basically that's my second family. So went to school with the girls that ended up, playing netball with. It was just, Myrtleford's a very close-knit community. So we stick together, and loyalty is something that I pride myself on.
Fantastic. Thank you. Well, I'll hand the mic over to you, because I know we've got some things and some stories to tell. So thanks, Andrew.
Okay. Thank you to Ron and the Owens and Murray Hall of Fame Committee for the honour that they have bestowed on me being inducted to the Hall of Fame. I must mention Tony Wilson, who was the main force on starting the netball competition. I remember I had a conversation with her, prior to '93, and she asked me, did I think it would be possible for Myrtleford to field a netball team? I'm so grateful I said yes, and thanks to Sandra Piazza for her part in making sure that happened. Our first A-grade team in '93 was made up of daughters from the 1970 Football Premiership team. I got to experience representative netball prior to this when I was picked in the under-16 Benambra, which is now Owens Murray, coached by none other than Kath Dobson, who has also played a significant part in the success of the Owens Murray netball competition. In those early years, Mum and Dad installed in me that the team was bigger than any one player, and to do your part no matter what position you were put in, and that's one of the reasons how I swapped from the defence end to being a shooter in '95. In '95 we had an abundance of defenders, but few shooters. I had played in goals previously in the local competition and also for Rowley. So that's when the partnership with Janelle and Kelly started. And would result in 4 A-grade premierships and 1 B-grade. Being a part of a team enables you to share memories and experiences with each other, and I'm sure we will hear of some of those tonight, bigger and better than before. So looking back over the last 30 years, I am in awe of how far the competition has come and how proud I am that I was a part of that inaugural year as a player and continue to stay as team manager for the A-grade side. Big thank you to Mum and Dad, who believed in my ability and provided support when I needed it. And then when Reece came along, they helped in looking after him while I played. Thank you to Reece for not complaining when it was bitterly cold in Myrtleford. And I would take him to trainings and he would kick his footy up and down the netball courts, watching me while I played. And on grand final days in Lavington, he would slide down the velodrome on cardboard. So many pants were ruined. To Jeff, my husband, on his continued and unwavering support to me, given his first time he watched me play was in the 2003 grand final against Wodonga. where we were 17 goals down halfway through the third quarter. And I'm sure he was saying to himself, why did I come all the way from Mackay to watch this? Thankfully, we were able to turn it around and win by only a couple of goals. And I'm sure the stories of that day will get bigger and better as the night goes on. Thank you to all my coaches, starting with Lindy, as in those first few years we all learned a new style of netball. And she brought with her all her experiences from playing in Melbourne back to us in Myrtleford. Matt Coers for installing in us a different perspective of the game and simplifying the game. One of his finest quotes must be said, the game of netball is not hard. You pass the ball, you catch the ball, and you put the ball in the ring. Then all you have to do is score more goals than the opposition. It's easy. And he wasn't wrong. Finally, thank you to those that have come tonight to celebrate with me, to those that have sent me messages of congratulations, and all those players, coaches and umpires that have been with me along the journey. Thank you.
380 games, A-grade premierships, 95, 97, 2000, 2003. Runner-up twice. B-grade premiership 2008. Club best and fairest 99, 2001. Runner-up in the league medal in 1994. Represented the O&M and interleague level. She's coached Myrtleford, A-grade, B-grade, C-grade. She's an O&M life member and Myrtleford Saints life member. Synonymous with the Myrtleford Saints. What a fantastic inductee. Andrea Chris Sutherland. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll have a short break again and then come back with our three next inductions.